welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today's video we are going to be picking my February TBR, but before I dive into the books that we'll be reading for February, I thought I would do an update on my January books. So for those who didn't watch my January TBR, I have reintroduced TBR videos for 2026. I have a TBR jar which has various different reading prompts in, and there are some like actual book titles in there that I obviously would have to read if I pull those out, but the idea is that when using the reading prompts I can have like a few different selections for things that I could read to fulfill the reading prompt, and then I read whatever it is as I feel like it, if that makes sense. So for January I picked out 4 reading prompts. 2 were actual book titles, which obviously I had to read that set book, and 2 were actually like reading prompts, so I had a few options available for those. So the first 2 books are the ones I had to read. They were the titles that I pulled out, and I had Cowboy Charm School by Margaret Brownlee, which I read and gave 4 stars to. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which I gave 4 stars to as well. This one was a reread, but I needed to reread this so I could continue on with the series. Then we had Roommate / Force Proximity as the reading prompt, and for that I read The Chase by Elle Kennedy and I gave this one 4 stars. And then the other prompt I had was Fake Dating, and I had a few different books I could have picked from, but the one that I ended up reading is Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey, and I gave this one 3.5 stars. Obviously you'll see all of these books, the first 2 I read in mentioned in my mid-month wrap-up, and the second 2 books I read in the later half of the month, so they'll feature in my January wrap-up if you want to see more of my thoughts on those. So we're gonna pick out 4 prompts for my TBR and we'll see what we get. So I'm just kind of mix them around a bit. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of them fell out, but I'll pick up the ones that fell. So I'm going to stick to 4. I may, as the year progresses, increase these, but I think 4 is a good number for me. So let's see what we've got. So first one is Deep River Promise. So this is an actual title of a book that I will be reading. Then we have A Dark or Morally Grey Romance, so potentially a few picks for that. Next one is Under Lock and Key by Lena Ferguson. This is one of my Afterlight books. So in 2025 I did start doing TBR videos where I included my Afterlight books because I wanted to try and read some, so I've put those in there as well. So that's that one. And then the last one that we have is Chasing Perfect. So I've got 3 title books, which I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm gonna go and get the books and see what I have to fulfill the dark romance prompt, and then I'll be right back to show you the books that I'll be reading. I'm back with the books that I'm going to be reading for February. So let's start with the 3 which are like the set books I'm going to read in terms of their titles that I've picked out, so I have to read those. So we've got Under Lock and Key by Lena Ferguson. This one is, oh, nearly dropped it. This one is the Afterlight Special Edition, and I've actually not read anything from this author, although I do own a few of their books. I'll just read the synopsis for this one because I don't really know what it's about. But it says, Kiana Key McKay is used to secrets. After her father's death, she finds herself thrust into a world he's always refused to speak of. With just a bedtime story about the monster that saved her father's life and the name of her estranged grandmother, Key has no idea what she'll find in Scotland, but being rescued by a gorgeous, angry Scotsman is the last thing she expects. Lachlan Greer has his own secrets to keep, especially from the bonny lass he pulls to safety from the slippery shore, one with captivating eyes and a last name he's been taught not to trust, someone he definitely doesn't find wildly attractive. Soon it becomes clear that they might be the key to uncovering each other's secrets. Up against time, mystery and a centuries-old curse, they'll quickly discover that magic might not only be in fairy tales, and that love can be a real Loch mess. So I think this has something to do with the Loch Ness Monster. I'm not sure if it's a shifter romance or not, because I know she does do some shifter ones, so I'm not sure how the Loch Ness plays into it, but I really love this edition, so hopefully I will enjoy it. Then we have Chasing Perfect by Susan Mallory. This is one that's been on my shelf for a really long time. A lot of the books that are in the TBR jar are ones I've had on my shelf and I want to either read them or get rid of them. And this one's the first book in the Fool's Gold series, which is a small town romance series. This was a series that I kind of picked up because when I was first like getting into small town romances. And this says, welcome to Fool's Gold, California, a charming community in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada. There's lots to do and plenty of people to meet, especially women, because there's just one tiny problem. In Fool's Gold, the men don't seem to stick around. Maybe it's just a lure of big city life, or maybe it's plain old bad luck, but regardless of the reason, the problem has to be fixed fast. And Charity Jones may just be the city planner to do it. Charity's nomadic childhood has left her itching to settle down, and she immediately falls in love with all the storybook town has to offer. Everything, that is, except its sexiest and most famous resident, former world-class cyclist Josh Golden. With her long list of romantic disasters, she's not about to take a chance on another bad boy, even if everyone else thinks he's perfect, just the way he is. But maybe that's just what he needs, someone who knows the value of his flaws, someone who knows that he's just chasing perfect. So I'm looking forward to diving into this. I've read quite a few Susan Mallory books, and this is obviously one of her longer series. It's obviously a small town series. There's quite a few books in this, so we'll see if I end up enjoying it. Then we have Deep River Promise by Jackie Ashenden, and this again is another small town series. This is part of the Alaska Homecoming series. I'm not sure if this is book 1 or not. But this one says, Damon Fitzgerald is a man who takes his responsibility seriously, yet somehow those responsibilities now include the tiny Alaska town he inherited after an old army buddy was killed in a plane crash. Damon just wants to get back to LA and his ailing mother, but first he has a promise to keep, looking out for his dead friend's son. Unfortunately, the boy's mother just happens to be Deep River's mayor and the most challenging woman Damon's ever met. Astrid James is mayor of Deep River, and she intends to do right by the town and her son. The last thing she needs is an arrogant outsider coming in and taking charge, no matter how attractive he is. But there's more to Damon than his charm, just as there's more to Astrid than the no-nonsense mare she appears to be. Soon the two of them are in deeper than the Deep River itself, but Damon is haunted by a private grief, and Astrid has good reasons not to trust. Can either of them risk their hearts on finding love again? So sounds like it'll be a fun time. I really love the cover for this one, so hopefully I will enjoy it. And then for the dark romance prompt, I don't read a ton of dark romance. I've read some, so I had to look at what I have on my shelves. The idea of this TBR using these prompts is to clear books off my shelf. So I've picked 3 possible picks. Obviously I won't necessarily read all 3 of these, but to fulfill one of the prompts I can choose from one of these to fulfill the dark romance prompt, and these are ones I've had on my shelf. So first one is Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. This is the first book in the Lioness trilogy, and the trilogy is now complete, so I would like to read this. This one says Tristan Thomas is lost. After leaving the army, the young former soldier is in limbo. Until that is, he's hired by Mark Trevina, the owner of Lioness, DC's ultra-secret kink club, to be Mark's new bodyguard. He's drawn into Mark's dark, seductive world of power and desire, and to Mark himself, even though Mark is everything Tristan knows he shouldn't want, cruel and wicked and shamelessly immoral. But protecting Mark isn't Tristan's only duty. Soon Mark asks him to guard his bride-to-be as she travels home from Ireland on Mark's yacht. Tristan is hurt to learn that the object of his obsession is engaged, but the former soldier in him is made to obey orders, and Isolde Lawrence is nothing like Tristan expects. Young, quiet and sharp, Isolde is being pushed into this marriage by her family, and as the two travel back to America, Tristan grows fascinated by the glimpses he gets of the lonely but determined woman behind the stoic reserve, and one night sailing under the cold stars they share a searing kiss. From there it's a fast fall into the forbidden for all 3 of them, but in Mark Trevina's world the fall is only the beginning. So sounds really interesting. I've heard good things about this trilogy, and I know this trilogy follows the same characters, so this one ends on a cliffhanger, I'm pretty sure. So if I do end up reading this, I might jump into the second book and third books quite quickly afterwards, depending on obviously if I enjoy it, but I do have the other 2 books in the series. Then I have Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. This is the sequel, or companion sequel to Lights Out. I think it's like set in the same world, but obviously follows different characters. I've heard very mixed things about this one. So this says, Nico Jr. Troshi knows Lauren Marchetti is off limits. Men like him don't get to have women like her. It's why he pushed her away in high school and still keeps his distance. But Junior follows Lauren online, and now that shy, bookish girl he remembers is gone, he can't stop obsessing over the strikingly beautiful woman who has taken her place. Lauren Marchetti knows Junior is dangerous. He broke her heart once and she won't let him do it again. But as their flirtatious encounters escalate, Lauren starts to remember why she fell for the brooding anti-hero all those years ago. As old obstacles resurface, Junior and Lauren are forced to face their true feelings for each other and decide just how far they're willing to go for a second chance at love. So I'm interested to check this one out, but I'm very nervous because, as I say, I've heard really mixed things. People loved Lights Out and I really enjoyed Lights Out too. And lots of people that I follow say that they didn't like this one very much, and some people even DNF'd it, so I'm very hesitant about this one, but obviously I do have it on my shelf, so I do want to read it. And then the other one I have is Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller. This one I've had for a while. This is one that I picked up off of Vinted for not very much, like a very long time ago, probably a year or 2 ago now, and I have not picked this one up. This is again part of a series, and this says, to most, Cal Anderson is a villain, harbinger of death, keeper of souls, frequenter of nightmares. They say he stole me. You spurred my fiance and filled the cracks in my heart with the empty promises, imprinted his crimson fingertips on my psyche and tried to set me free. They're not wrong per se. To most, Elena Rishi is an innocent, goddess of springtime, lover of poetry, angel of my nightmares. They say I ruined her, shattered her virtue, and devoured her soul like a succulent pomegranate, embedded my evil as deep as I could possibly get and tried to set her free. They're not wrong per se. So, interested to check this one out. I've heard mixed things about this one as well. I think this was very popular quite a few years ago, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it recently, so we'll see. So they are the books that I'm going to be potentially reading in February. For the dark romance picks, let me know which one you think I should pick, because that might help influence my decision. And let me know if you've read any of the other books on this list, and I will see you in my next video, and hopefully I will be able to complete my February TBR.